Hey, welcome back everybody to the Cult Classic Podcast. We aren't critics, we aren't experts, we're just three friends that like watching movies and talking about them. So if you're cool with some loose facts and some strong opinions, sip the Kool-Aid. You're in the right place. Cameron Jones here with my co-host,
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
And you know what? We're keeping things going into summer here with a little 4th of July celebration. We've brought you such hit films as Independence Day and
What Hot American Summer.
And Jaws.
Jaws.
You know, we try to keep the holidays special around here at CCP.
We're working our way to Born on the 4th of July, but not today.
No, not today at all. Today we're going to be doing the 2000 film, The Patriot. A widowed farmer with a brave but brutal military past decides not to join when the British arrive in 1776. However, when his son enlists and is later captured by the enemy, the former soldier must abandon his newfound pacifist principles in order to rescue his oldest child.
A Hollywood adaptation of the story of our young country.
All true, 100% true story. It's an unofficial sequel to Braveheart. The American story.
The Patriot is a Mel Gibson vehicle where he looks like some Benjamin Franklin motherfucker, and he goes on a rampage because someone killed his son.
Directed by Roland Emmerich, starring Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger, Jolie Richardson, Jason Isaacs, Chris Cooper, Lisa Brenner, Trevor Morgan.
You know what? This movie's a little corny. It has a lot of like, we're doing this for freedom kind of quotes, but overall, it gets me hyped up, makes me feel patriotic, and has some cool hand-to-hand combat, like sword kind of shooting scenes, and this movie's awesome.
It's the Revolutionary War movie we all didn't know we wanted, except I really wanted it, but they gave it to me.
It's got Colony Tales up the butt. As far as movies go, if you want just the good old Colony Tale, it's this or Ichabod Crane. The Patriot.
Alrighty, let's do cast and crew. I always forget this to start off with. Let's just start with the director. Directed by Roland Emmerich.
Name's familiar. What do I know?
You're going to know him.
You're definitely going to know him. His directing work, let's see, is Independence Day.
Okay. So we've done him before for a previous... He does 4th of July movies.
1996. Also did Godzilla in 1998. The Patriot right after.
I believe that's the Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah. The Day After Tomorrow, 10,000 BC, 2012. Those are the ones he directed. He's also written a lot of movies, and it's even a longer list. Let's see.
Even though this movie is kind of a one-off of genre, and Independence Day, the movie, isn't quite a disaster movie, his pocket is the disaster movie.
Yeah, the big
Hollywood
disaster
blockbuster like disaster movies for sure. Oh no, it's the writer. So written by Robert Rodat, could be French. So Robert Rodat also was the writer on Saving Private Ryan, The Patriot, obviously, Fly Away Home, that Jeff Daniels movie with the geese.
Nice. Never seen it, definitely want to. It's that and The Rocketeer. Someday I'll get to it.
And I believe both on Disney Plus, probably.
So, sure.
Onto the cast, we have Mel Gibson.
I mean, this is in the pocket of his 15 to 10 year run where he's Mel Gibson. I think he made $25 million for the film.
All the Lethal Weapons, Braveheart. He was John Smith on Pocahontas. I mean, we know who Mel Gibson is. Heath Ledger plays Gabriel Martin, the son.
I'm not going to say this is a breakout role, but kind of a breakout role into I'm Not the Heartthrob. We'll get on to that in a little bit.
Yeah, unverified. He wanted to not be the heartthrob.
Obviously,
still kind of a heartthrob in this movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
My heart was throbbing.
You can't unheart
Go back and see our episode of 10 Things I Hate About You, and that's all we've done for him, right? Yeah.
And look forward to someday maybe we'll do
the Dark Knight series. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying Brokeback.
Yeah.
Jolie Richardson as Charlotte Selton.
She's super familiar looking. What do I know her from? I think it's
she's the mom. Patriot.
She's the mom in the live action 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
anything else? That one's not as...
I didn't recognize her name.
Okay. I think it's something TV. I know. Maybe Disney.
She probably did TV work.
Jason Isaacs plays the evil colonel, British colonel.
You're going to know him now most historically as Lucius Malfoy from the Harry Potter series.
Lucius.
Lucius.
Oh, it's Lucius?
It's got to be Lucius, no?
I think the Jim Dale said Lucius.
Yeah, there's been different
So I gotta
pronunciations.
go with JD on this
Or
one.
you could just go back and listen to our Armageddon episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's in that also.
A sneaky role, and if you really want to stretch it out, he's in Sweet November, the Charlize Theron, Keanu Reeves movie.
Speaking of autumn months, we have Chris Cooper.
I will say though quickly on Jason
October
Isaacs.
Sky.
This was the first time Jason Isaacs came on my radar.
Oh,
And
yeah.
hard to forget, this was a big, heavy, impactful, evil role. But sorry, go on because I do like our next guy as well.
So we've got Chris Cooper. I know him in October Sky.
American Beauty. Also, he was in the. I'm forgetting the name. The Stephen King. Yes, sorry.
11/22/63.
11/22.
Thank you. 11/22/63. But good little short series. He wasn't in it too
I
long.
love
but
that series. That was awesome. Lisa Brenner plays Anne Howard.
not familiar. Do I know her from anything?
I didn't. A lot of TV stuff.
Okay.
Checky Cairo plays Jean Villeneuve.
I assume he does a lot
Villeneuve.
of French. Love him. Love the character. Love
truly do.
the portrayal of the actor.
Cornwallis, Tom Wilkinson.
You're gonna. He's
Well,
a
actually,
great
funny enough, The Dark
character
Knight, he does play the mobster in that.
Val
Oh no,
Coney.
it's actually Batman Begins. It's,
Yeah, well, yeah,
I
true.
recommend. I recognize that.
He had a breakout role in The Full Monty.
Oh, also,
that
yeah,
kind of
sure.
brought him to mainstream U.S.
That guy.
This guy.
Our next guy. He is super
Donald
familiar.
Logue plays Dan Scott.
He's the one that's like
I'd be
honored.
honored.
Yeah,
honored.
okay.
Yeah. You want to know what he's the best in? Go to YouTube, check it out if you want. I love the 70s and 80s on VH1.
Oh, yeah, he
He's
was good on that.
hilarious on that. He had probably like a 7-year run sitcom that nobody's seen in your King of Queens type era. He's also in Jerry Maguire. I thought he was going to be not a star, but
Have more, yeah.
have more of a career than he did. I mean, it's not over, but it. You know.
I believe he's also maybe on Gotham too, as like a dirty cop, if I'm not mistaken.
Out of all the Cloney Tales in the movie, his was the worst. It's almost
Yeah.
like they just put like a merkin on the back of his head.
Yeah.
just of
I think
like
we
a
got some
Cloney Tale.
merchants happening, but yeah. They're like, he's like, can you just stick something on in the back?
Yeah, can you just put something there?
Best Cloney Tale? I think we got to agree. It's well, we'll get to that. Or should we just say it now? Because we'll
It might
never
be
get
just
back
be
to
Mel, no?
I think it's just Mel, right?
it. I got to go with.
His hair's balding so perfectly
hold
into
on,
that
before he
Benjamin
says it, I
Franklin.
think I know where he's going.
Go ahead.
He might be going young Thomas.
I was gonna say Thomas
be
too,
Sue Thomas.
actually.
No, that's like picture perfect. If you saw like a Washington Carver novel, yeah. But
What is he gonna say? What's he gonna say?
I'm going with Gabriel. I just
okay.
like it.
Gabe has a.
Well, it's
You know what? Actually, I'm
He's
giving.
got a ponytail.
I'm giving mine to Thomas.
I'm giving mine to Mel.
All right.
I still want to get to a couple other guys here. Adam Baldwin.
He's recognizable. He's been on TV recently, like his big series.
Funny enough, also in Independence Day, he's like one of the captains.
is that
military.
glass
Yeah.
bulletproof? Step aside. That scene when he shoots through, it's that guy.
I'd say
also
that's
one
his
of the,
biggest role for me. The Independence Day.
Yeah, probably. I think most people would
yeah.
say maybe my Chuck.
I guess I'd have to
whatever.
agree with you there.
I've never seen Chuck.
I think he's that guy. I'm 90% sure.
He's the voice of one of the Marines, or maybe all of the Marines in Halo 3.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. He
Voice
does
works.
just have a
He
very.
did a lot of voice work. He did.
He has a very militaristic sound and look, so that's why he's always in these
Yeah,
roles.
he's got generic voice.
Occam was played by J. Arian Jones.
Is he from anything? Because I did not recognize him.
I didn't recognize him either. Joey De Vieira plays Peter Howard, sort of that bigger
Anne's
deaf
father
guy.
with
Anne's father. Correct.
the one leg.
I've got a recast, and I'd love for him, but it just isn't going to work dialect-wise.
He's in the Lassie series, like early on,
Oh, solid.
and he's the pizza dude in Ferris
No
Bueller's.
way,
He's a
really?
pizza guy, but pizza dude.
Oh, and Ferris Bueller
Ferris
said
Bueller's.
not in.
No. Right. Sorry. I just.
It'd be funny if he was
I
just
wanted
the guy.
to say pizza dude.
Be
again.
funny if he was just the guy driving the van though in the burbs. And
He is. Let's
unseen,
just-
but
uncredited.
Thomas Martin is in Harriet the Spy, also in
Yep.
Small Soldiers. It just keeps coming back to me, guys.
So-
It really does.
good for you.
If you
Alan
guys,
Abernathy.
If you guys know what what's his name?
Alan Abernathy.
Okay. If you guys know what the Invisibles is, you
Cameron
do.
is rolling his eyes at me right now.
It's just amazing how much Small Soldiers is coming up. on
No,
this
that
podcast.
came up on the Invisibles like last week, and I'm like, tiny soldiers, little soldiers. It took me like 7 guesses. I'm like, what the hell is it called? I did get there small. I'm like, small soldiers, tin soldiers. It took me like 15 minutes. I'm like, I know it's. I mean, you know it's small soldiers when you see it.
They just team me up.
Yeah.
Just team me up. And Trevor Morgan plays Nathan Martin.
You're gonna know
Even
this
younger-
asshole.
the
from,
youngest one that you might remember
Not the youngest.
No, the second youngest.
with the boy though, right?
Yeah, the one
yeah.
who likes to murder.
Yeah, well, all of them do.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I'm
the one
glad.
who's like, I can't wait. It's that one, right?
He's the Sixth Sense kid. He's also in like a Disney Channel original movie, Genius.
Yeah, he's
Jurassic Park 3, The Rookie.
Isn't he in like 3 Disney Channel ones?
He had a good run.
He was a pretty big child actor when he looked exactly like that. You only really know him in this stage of his life, like 2 plus or minus 2 years.
I liked him in this though.
I liked him in Genius.
Liked him in The Rookie.
Yeah, just sometimes you don't know how you're gonna look like as an adult.
We looked at Marcus just saw a picture and he looks similar.
I mean, this is one of those
Just
movies
like
that has
5'7".
just a cast that just goes on and on and
Yeah,
on.
this is. I mean, it's literally. I mean, it's an army movie, and anytime you have that, you have a million characters. So yeah,
after all that, I think that's where I'm going to cap the cast and crew. But
yeah, that's fair. Let's.
John Williams does the score. So
and as people who like obviously shine on the music in most movies, pretty big. He's one of my favorite composers.
Oscar worthy, but I don't think he won an Oscar.
Good score.
I'm sure he got nominated.
Triumphant.
Not one of his best, but still like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree with
it's
that.
John Williams.
It's good for the movie though.
True.
It's just not an all-timer.
Because you never really want to listen to Colony like
mean,
like piccolo and like
maybe
just
you don't.
snare stuff.
If I could go back, I would learn
I
the
catch
piccolo
myself
just for that.
Yeah, I
moment.
catch myself listening to a lot of John Philip Sousa all the time. A lot of papa.
Pop. What's that? Give me a little taste.
Ba, 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 ba.
all right. Just want to make sure. Man, you guys were on that one. Okay.
Should we move on to questions?
Comments.
Unverified.
Should we move on to unverified?
Sure. I mean, we can move on to whatever you want. I'm just like,
Damn, called you out.
Well, it seems like we're moving on to unverified.
Okay.
Unverified facts about this movie that we didn't look too much into. So just to give some idea of the money for this, it made $22 million opening weekend.
Got some of the Jones family money.
Well, $22.5 million really. Made.
You remember seeing this one in theater?
We did see this in theater. I believe
We'll get to that story.
I mean, right before 4th of July because it did come up.
This seems like a good spot for the story, no?
Oh, epic movie experience. We're like, as a family, are we gonna go see fireworks? And everybody's like, no. Cameron's like, I really want to because I'm still young. He's the youngest in our family.
We're gonna see some cinematic fireworks.
Somehow a fight.
Fireworks.
Oh, can I give my recasting for that?
Not yet. Say
Okay, fine. I do have one for that. I can't wait. Kind of family fight breaks out, and we decide on the movie. I mean, there was a line in the sand. Some people really wanted to see fireworks. We go into the movie. Tempers are high. Nobody is feeling it. Now, granted, it's a 3-hour movie almost, and we come out. We're like, that just brought us
It
together.
really did bring the whole family together.
brought
I'm
the
not
whole
gonna lie.
family together. Great movie experience.
You probably actually caught some like fireworks on the way home, some like residuals.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean,
And just to put you guys in the same feeling as the Jones family, here are some movies that came out that same month, same year with the Patriot.
Same month, same year.
Same month, same year. These all came out in June of 2000. You could have seen Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey. You
Two
could have,
tickets, please.
You could have seen Chicken Run with, I believe, George Clooney.
Also Mel Gibson.
Gone in Six. Actually, I think it is Mel Gibson. I messed it up.
you're thinking
Mel
the
Gibson.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Possibly. You could have seen Chicken Run with Mel Gibson also. 2 big movies that month. Gone in 60 Seconds with our boy Rage Cage.
That's a big one for my age group.
This is the George Clooney I'm thinking of. The Perfect Storm also came out that year with George Clooney. The Perfect Storm. You have Shaft. This is actually a kind of forgotten one, but I saw it a bunch because it was on HBO. Titan AE. That's the animated one with Matt Damon about them like restarting
Nobody
Earth.
saw it.
Nobody saw it in theater for sure. And finally, the Rocky and Bullwinkle reboot that was like CGI. And those are all the movies out in theaters that
He
year.
tapered down at the end with the Titan AE and the
for
Rocky
sure,
and
sure
Bullwinkle,
did.
but-
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the Jones family it seemed like if I hear in that lineup, Perfect Storm all day, every day.
I guess it was hard finding a place to film like swampland, so the production team rented out a botanical garden and they like flooded it to make it look like a swamp.
It looks great.
And it seems like the water is pretty far reaching, so it seems like they destroyed a botanical garden, is what I'm imagining.
Didn't even think about. Yeah, they just destroyed.
Can't be easy to bring that back.
I saw the budget of the film. I think it's near like 110 million.
Hey, sorry about your
Which
peonies.
they did make back
those are gone.
with just domestic. So there you go.
So I think they paid Mel Gibson 25. So where I think the budget went was obviously set design.
Mel
Great.
Gibson and the botanical gardens.
But hear this out. This is the first movie the Smithsonian teamed up on the project for historical accuracy for the costume design.
And it shows.
Not all the facts. They're not getting into the what happened in the war with these characters. But the costume design is amazing.
Yeah, but as far as like costume and just
It
the
really
set
is
design,
a great period piece. That's one of my favorite aspects of this movie.
And I do remember actually watching the special features for the DVD and that watching how in detail they did just from like buttons and like current like who would be wearing what for rank and like just even the militia and just the average
all the way
man.
to the extras, like everybody. It was unreal.
Well, you'd think like the cavalry is going to roll up wearing the same stuff. No, they had like different emblems and colors they were wearing. Like,
well, here's how good you know this is. I remember going to different places in Washington and even Mount Vernon, George Washington's property, and all the little clips use footage from the movie Patriot. It says it in the corner because it's the best you get of showing like depicting that time period. The Patriot nailed it.
It's just beautiful,
and the government did help, so that also helps. Jordan was alluding to this earlier, but Heath Ledger actually didn't act a year leading up to this movie, and it was because he was only being offered heartthrob roles where he was actually just debating quitting acting. Heartthrob. He was only getting teen heartthrob roles to the point that he was going to quit acting and just return to Australia and just find Plan B. But he got offered this role and took it.
Sorry to tell you, Heath, you're still a heartthrob in this movie.
Yeah,
he really is.
Was. Sure. But on his terms.
Hollywood still figured out a way to weave him in as like this heartthrob, like whether he wanted to or not.
Mark, he was a heartthrob that brought the country together and kind of won the Revolutionary War in death.
Because right before this, he had done 10 Things I Hate About You. Mm-hmm. Then he did A Knight's Tale. Right after this or right before this, I can't quite remember.
That's something we should maybe do one of these days.
We haven't done it?
I don't know. Everyone had to do a 2-week training before the final battle because all the hand combat was supposed to be accurate, and even all the extras choreographed to the T, like just further out, so everyone had their own battle sequence. You know what is great
fun? I think this movie does pretty well in the background scenes, and I guess I'll tiptoe on one of my favorite aspects. What I like about this movie and really good historical war movies, it's like seeing a history book come to life. Like the oil paintings you see, like they just captured it and made it live action. It's really cool. And it proves the point you always think about when you're a kid. You're like, if somebody just brought a semi-automatic weapon to any war predating World War I, essentially, like you could win it in a week. Yeah. And this just proves if you hide a little, you can. Oh, fun thing to do in epic movies like this where there's battle scenes, watch the extras.
True.
Maybe not the first time. They're not all killing it. Some of them are just like pantomiming nothing.
Just sparring in the background.
Oh, also with just some of the props and fighting, it's also said that Jason Isaac and Mel Gibson rehearsed every single day, like in between sets for that final battle scene, just because they knew it was going to be such a monumental moment in the film that they wanted to make sure it was perfect.
I probably would want to do that too. It was like a 100-day shoot, and they did it every day.
So every day practicing the final fight.
It's a great scene.
Yeah,
for hours.
It's a great scene. Oh, and also just finally with some of the fighting things, all the bayonets for every single extra was spring-loaded, so everyone could stab everyone safely. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun with that.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that's real.
I'm just saying, we're all humans. We make springs sometimes.
But that's also
sometimes.
That's also like movie history lore is like, I thought it was fake, and then you murdered somebody on set.
I think that's happened in like
that
a movie.
happens all the time. Yeah. It normally happens on like scary movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like exorcisms and shit. I was talking to Megan the other day, and there's that new Conjuring movie. I'm like, hey, I'd see it, but I know they're like 6 deep, and I just saw the first one, and I'm like, I know they're somewhat loosely based on real life, and she's like, what makes them real? I'm like, I don't know, I think somebody actually had an exorcism. She's like, do people do that? I'm like, yeah dipshits. Like, if you had a real problem in your house, would you be like, I'm turning to the Catholic Church on this one? No.
The technical advisor that taught Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger to shoot a muzzle-loading rifle was actually the one to come up with the aim small, miss small
I saw that too, and I like that.
So the story behind it is when they were training, he literally told them, aim small, miss small. If you aim for a man, you can miss a man. But if you aim for like the button on a shirt and you miss, you're still going to hit the man.
Yep.
And we've all said that, golfing, shooting hoops,
aim small, miss
shooting
small.
anything.
Aim small, miss small.
I say it all the time.
We were kind of saying that Mel Gibson's character is an amalgamation, but not an exact person. The main people he was based off of is Francis Marion, a.k.a. the Swamp Fox. He was a person who taught militia fighting and was based out in the swamps of South Carolina. And also Andrew Pickens. He had his estate torch and lost a son, and then he re-enlisted and helped lead militia forces at Cowpens. And the main battle with like all the militia leading the front is the Battle of Cowpens, is what it's loosely based off of.
So they took loose...
Yeah, I mean, the character of Major Villeneuve is based on Marquis de Lafayette, French major. So they just incorporated him into the movie.
They're like, listen, if we give them fake names, you don't got to fact check this.
True.
You will.
If you
don't
play
have to.
fucking Assassin's Creed, you basically just run through all the story.
That
Did you see the fun fact with that?
What was it?
The fighting techniques from the Assassin's Creed, the one that's in the Revolutionary War, was based off of Mel Gibson's movements from the tomahawk scene.
Yeah.
Brutal scene.
True.
Only Assassin's Creed I ever owned was that one.
Good one.
I
It was a great
enjoyed
one.
it. Played it all fun. Whatever. What do you think about the Swamp Fox? You don't want to fuck with that guy.
No.
I'm pretty sure the Swamp Fox is where he got.
With a name like Swamp Fox, you're dangerous.
Oh,
You're dangerous.
At best, at worst, I don't even know. The Swamp Fox.
This is kind of a funny historical one. So you know the scene when Benjamin Martin goes to Cornwallis to get the soldiers back, but at the end when he whistles for the dogs and they follow, that was like kind of a loose thing. But there's apparently a true story from the Revolutionary War where George Washington during a battle saw a little what kind of dog? It was a terrier just wandering the battlefield, and he knew it to be a British general on the other side. So he called a ceasefire, and they held the white flag so that he could return the dog, and then the battle continued.
That's how you know it used to be a gentleman's warfare.
True.
Ceasefire.
Everyone stop. Get the terrier.
Terrier's on the loose.
It's just fucking like yapping at somebody's like ankles. Hey,
Dog's
stop
good
it.
eating. Wait. Benjamin Martin was originally in the script, had 6 kids, but Mel Gibson's like, hey, make it 7 because I have 7.
And I'm
like,
crazy.
Sure, we'll make that one mute until like 2 hours in. Is that fine? Can we make her mute?
Or they added one
It's
more
7.
murder boy, or it's that other girl that also really doesn't have any lines.
Hers is more just chuckling of like, oh, they're gonna fuck.
Yeah.
My aunt's gonna fuck my dad.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Oh, speaking of did Aunt Charlotte's house look familiar to you?
No, it did not.
Well, it was used 6 years previous in Forrest Gump. That's Forrest Gump's house. They just switched a few things. They put in a stone.
Really cleaned it up.
There's a stone head. There's a stone that like a hedge covered up. I think for Forrest Gump, they moved some of the landscaping, but same house.
Yeah.
This is kind of an opposite of our recasting what ifs, but Mel Gibson was actually also up for The Perfect Storm, the George Clooney film. He was a little worried that he was competing with it and hoped he made the right choice.
I think he did.
And he also had Chicken Run, so fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
He was making some money.
He made the right choice.
But he probably did the voiceover for that like 3 years previous because it's claymation and that takes forever. So, does anyone have any other unverified facts?
No.
I mean, there's a lot.
There's so many.
Yeah, and especially because they did so much historical research that just you could look into, but we just don't have the time. Let's move on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities. I have an animosity. It's that people don't like this movie.
Okay.
There's like a whole bunch of people like who says it's melodramatic, it's fluff.
I will say this: it is a long movie, and there is a little bit of extra baggage that I think we could cut out to
You
streamline
could cut
it.
out scenes in any 2-hour and 50-minute movie.
But the argument I will make in favor of you and me and us liking it is the fact that there is so much extra bullshit, but it really does get you involved with the characters. In any war movie where there's death, you kind of want that to really feel for everybody.
All
you know?
that's fine. All that is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lull that happens maybe like 3/5 of the way through the movie. After halfway through, and there's like a wedding that happens, and you're like,
It's exactly
you
the
can
wedding.
only go to the coastline
wedding.
once. You can't go twice.
I agree.
And as much as we like the town people, we get it.
the movie could be 220 instead of 250 or what it is.
Honestly, when they go
There's
to
20 or 30 minutes that needs to be cut.
When they go to Aunt Charlotte's house and they took her, I was like, oh shit, we're about to ramp up. Gabriel's about to die. Then we're going to war. I'm like, oh wait, there's
yeah,
40
there's
more minutes before that. But if we could have cut to that,
So
it would have been great.
I assume I
Still is,
don't
but-
want to stay on this too long, but
Yeah.
we all know where the lull is.
Yep.
It's when you go to the island. This is an actual question. We know this movie takes place in the South Carolina area. Chances are it's Gullah Gullah Island. Check it out. I'm not sure.
Hold on.
I know a great hiding spot.
Okay.
Take a boat. That's just speculation. That's not even on the internet. You're
my
welcome.
God.
That was a question I had for you guys.
I'll look into this.
We know it's coastal. We don't know if it's on an island or not. Could be, could not be Gullah Gullah's island.
Oh, I have to say this right now. Unverified, apparently, Anne? Yeah, she was apparently not supposed to be even married, just like supposed to be carrying Gabriel's child or something when she was burned in the church. And that would have done it enough for me for him to be like, I need revenge. I'm going, I'm like a reckless
No, even if like
tear.
they weren't married, you still would have. We would have been. We
Sure.
want to.
Yeah, I would have been in on that.
We got enough to. We got enough to go. Want to take down Taddington or where the fuck is Jason Isaacs? Tappington. Anyway, okay, yes, there's a lull, right? But
could have
here's
been many
why
of those
I
trips
love
to
this
town, yeah.
movie. It moves pretty fast, minus that 40-minute lull. You take that out of there, it's actually pretty smooth
actually
moving.
yeah.
You're in it the whole time. You just give it an intermission. Don't give me that 40-minute lull. Love the costume design. It is beautiful, rich colors, and it seems very
2000,
authentic.
This was DVD era, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't split this up into 2 VHSs like you could with Titanic.
No, that's true.
But it does come on VHS because we also own it on VHS
We
back
did
home.
own just a wonder though.
I was actually just back
Really?
home. Yeah,
Just a one?
Yeah, just saw the tape. I was gonna watch it, but I don't know if the VCR was hooked
I
up
don't know
anymore.
if this will be anybody else's favorite aspect, like real film people. I love the cinematography and lighting in this movie.
The beginning
I
farm
love
scene,
it.
it's always the sunset, just that glow through everyone's hair. It's beautiful.
They capture the ray of lights, and they use it tonally, like when it's sad and depressing, it's dark and gray, whatever. But like the rich, colorful warmth, I'm like, I fucking love this. I would like it if just in the middle there, instead of the lull, just give me a 15-minute.
Give me more warmth than John Williams.
No, I'm just saying, just give me like a intermission, like just give me a quick Ichabod Crane story in the middle of this, because you guys
just
captured the
just
look.
Mel Gibson instead of like that, like Fort Wilderness. It's just him telling Ichabod Crane around the fire.
Something, anybody, yeah.
And they got married after that story. Recap.
I do, and I think
VHS.
I think the action sequences are great in this movie. The war, the battle scenes, the scale and scope of it. I think it's got a little good. Is it a little melodramatic? Is it a little cheesy? Yeah, fuck off.
Sometimes, yeah. But one thing I do want to say, throwaway comment at the very beginning of the movie, but just Mel Gibson building that rocking chair. I've always had that little dream of me being a little carpenter, woodworker, and building some sort of furniture. Never going to happen. But
If you're wondering, though, that frustration
He
comes
sucked
out in
at
other
it.
places in his life.
yeah.
At that point, I get it. He's a craftsman. He's a worker. Just buy a fucking chair.
And he does have that comment when he's talking about his wife telling him to stay the course when he gets a little too drunk and starts talking his mouth off. I'm like, oof, could have used her a couple of years later.
Also, yeah, there seemed like a lot of parallel foreshadowing to real life Mel Gibson. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of kids.
I've often feared my ghost would come back.
off kilter.
And they did. They did, Mel. I just want to talk about two actors I think we should focus on, and that is Heath Ledger and Jason Isaacs. I would say out of everyone else in this movie... Jason Isaacs, sorry. Heath Ledger, Jesus Christ. I'd like to talk about...
Take a second.
I'd like,
race.
I'd like to talk about Heath Ledger and Jason Isaacs. I just feel above everyone else in the movie, their performances kind of stood out more.
I agree with that. I think they jump off the screen. It seems like there's obviously something about Heath Ledger that you're drawn to watching him in whatever role, and most movies except Brothers Grimm he is in. Like he's just got whatever that quality is. He's a great actor. He's versatile, but you're drawn to him.
True.
And Jason Isaacs,
I've never hated... It was the first time I've hated someone so much in film, maybe.
Jason Isaacs plays that role so well. Like, he plays the evil guy so well. I don't know what it is.
But the
Here's
movie you
what
did mention earlier, he does play lighthearted in November.
Sweet November.
Sweet
yes.
November.
I mean, he's obviously a character actor. I think he probably did a lot of like stage work, and he's Lucius Malfoy, however you say it. But what I think he brings to this table, for his role in the Patriot, he's got disdain for everybody else. He's smug. He's maniacal. He doesn't need to be bad. It seems like he wants to, and that comes across in his delivery and facial expressions and everything. And that's why he kills it. Yes, he's so dislikable. If you recast this with another person, the actions of the character are dislikable, but I think his betrayal is what adds to the character.
I couldn't agree more.
It brings it three-dimensional. He's bringing it to there. Lots of people can play bad guys, evil guys. Anyway, I agree, though. Jason Isaacs, this is his role.
I mean, also, again, I feel like these were some of the first times I saw Jason Isaacs and not Heath Ledger, but these were just kind of the first times they really popped out on screen for me, too.
I actually thought Thomas and Mel killed it, too.
Thomas was in it so briefly. I do have a comment on that character. I'm not glad he got killed, but he would have died day one. He would have died day one in service.
Animosity.
I'm not glad he got killed.
Animosity. What the fuck was his plan? Just running up to Heath Ledger, pushing a few people, and saying, "Run!" They're surrounded. They're surrounded by everybody.
I don't want to agree with Taddington, but stupid boy. I don't think he should have gotten shot.
Silly boy.
But what was he gonna do? What was he gonna do?
Run to the wood to aim for the bushes.
I think Mel Gibson, though, I really like his this could be such a misstep in casting, don't you think? It's a
What, for
gamble.
Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a historic. There's some people, and this was what was tough about recasting. It's hard to see everybody in 1781.
I agree. That was a little harder. Yeah.
You can't put a colonial tale on everybody and it just works.
But it really does
maybe
work on
Mel
him.
was just like spotted, like, call Mel.
But he carries the movie still, I think. Without him.
No, I agree. He still does have a great performance. Just those two do have a kind of surprising breakout role, I would say, in this for not being the stars.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the character actors, and this is with most movies I like, they bring a roundness to characters that are flat. You know
I agree
mean?
with that. Like really all the B characters and all the supporting cast have at least a fun line, or at least a quotable line from the movie.
It's a quotable line.
Even that just tall guy. What do you know about war? Everyone has a random line.
That guy was from New Amsterdam. Now we know it as New York. He was the only guy from Brooklyn, in Virginia at the time, or in South Carolina. What do you know about war? Like, I think you're in the wrong fucking time period, but okay.
Just a quick comment, kind of a question. I think with just such little stimulus and entertainment, they're so excited for the mail. I think I would have slept a lot. What would you guys have done for fun in colonial times when you probably just had the Bible to read a lot?
Well, we couldn't have done anything. You would have prayed. You would have worked. You would have worked and prayed.
I would have slept a lot and been real weird religious.
Yeah, that's why you call people witches.
I mean, Gabe is coming back with like some sort of pheasant or something. You can hunt.
You can hunt. You can fish.
You can go to the swim hole. We know
can
that
hunt, you
much.
can fish.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I don't know what I would have done.
I would have slept a lot.
Yeah, and especially the sleeping situation, you're not getting a lot of alone time to jerk it.
What about eating an apple with a knife? That's super colonial.
That's sustenance. I mean, that's necessary.
That's a hobby.
I love that scene. Obviously, I assume it wasn't natural happening.
Actually, that was improvised. Mel Gibson just had an apple with him and just surprised.
Yeah, but they both ate it that way.
Well,
that had to be a little choreographed. Okay, I do have like a big thing I love about this movie. Mm-hmm. Just one of my favorite things outside of the look of it. I really do love the look and the score. It's the revenge aspect. Very few movies give you exactly the revenge you want immediately.
I would say it takes about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Sorry, no. The revenge of just killing Tavington, Jason Isaacs' character. Yes, that's the long build. But Thomas gets killed. Gabriel gets taken. And then the best scene in the fucking movie happens.
And then 20 people are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, like...
Oh, that kind of like, that general who had a conscience. Like,
yeah.
Who was, that guy.
Okay,
we did feel bad for him.
Okay, couple animosities with that.
That scene immediately.
If you see him going crazy, stay down. That guy who gets up and runs at the end, come on, buddy. And also, kind of just animosity. That is like 20 men being taken down by one man and two boys. Like
Father.
I know we're not used to like.
I'm glad I killed those men.
Oh well, maybe not.
No,
okay.
I'm glad.
And then little Sam is like, don't talk to my dad. There is a great moment though when they realize, oh my God, our dad's not. Gabriel came from war.
Yeah, can we talk about?
Oh yeah, actually, that shot where like Mel Gibson comes up, turns around, he's covered in blood, and then it's like just a wide shot of his three sons looking like, holy shit, our dad's insane.
I mean, he's covered in blood, and they just heard.
So it's Sam and Nathaniel right there.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, just like you're taking the first shot. Dad, you're really sweaty right now. Like, what's going
Dad,
on?
You're scaring me. Yeah, that seems pretty intense.
So they went from, oh my God, our dad's a hero, to, oh my God, we don't know it yet, war crimes.
Yeah.
Like, this is a whole nother thing. And then you realize, I'm never going to cross this man again. In fact, the man I once knew as dad is now Benjamin Martin to me.
I'm going to let him make his rocking chairs in peace. I'm never going to let him.
I'm not going to talk shit about him anymore. It's the moment when you hear this from your dad. You're like, what is happening there?
Dad!
Yeah. Just at the very beginning, when there's like 26 to whatever, the levee passed. How many people do you think died before war from those bullets coming back down?
Great question.
And like when Gabriel's walking down there with that shit-eating grin, and someone right beside him just fires a gun next to his head, like
it's my very first comment. It's just a lot of ill-advised pistol shooting.
Yeah, a lot, especially for like metals probably being a little more rare. Maybe just and gunpowder saves some.
So let's say like a bill gets passed,
go to
right?
war.
Yeah, maybe just a huzzah.
Let's say something like that happens, right? We're all excited. Let's throw, bam, bam, into the sky. There's a lot of like it just keeps going. So like you're reloading. I'm so excited. I'm gonna do another one.
I
Bam!
do have a question about the clip
Just
they were shooting
reloading
at.
and like shooting into the sky.
For reload
With a
time
musket.
being like 5 minutes, I feel like a lot of gunfire was happening.
Hear me out. Not loading in the
That's
musket.
how
Maybe-
excited you are. It's just like,
Cannot wait. Was that 21 to 12? The levy passed. Just give me a fucking second.
fuck, I wasn't ready.
God damn it.
Hear me out, though. Hear me out, though. Maybe we're just like not wadding it, just pouring in gunpowder and shooting blanks and just pa 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 like our little cap guns.
No, they
we
didn't
do
have
that?
cap guns,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm saying you don't put the ball. I mean,
Oh, you're saying-
you're just firing
oh, yeah,
gunpowder, so maybe it's safer
that,
than we
you
that
do
would
that?
be smart.
Yeah.
I don't know about muskets. I don't.
I know
Yeah,
nothing.
because it's
about
still the
muskets.
gunpowder. You're just taking out the projectile
Cameron knows
part
about
of it.
I mean,
I know about projectiles.
To your point, though, going into war, we've only read about just how scarce things got for the colonials. Just you're looking back 3 weeks later, like
bam! Yeah, I shouldn't
really
get so excited about that.
Could have used some of
huh?
that gunpowder.
Yeah, would have been nice to have some of that.
I do want to talk about Benjamin Martin's character trait. He takes Thomas's bullets. He boils them down.
Mm-hmm.
So he boils them down from one. I like that aspect. It's a cool little character trait the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But even if you don't get shot in a fatal place, whatever the pain is on that, just scraping your body, you're dead in a week.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna get a terrible
So,
infection and burn.
Are we to
from the
believe
inside
that
out.
those are like little lead figurines? Is that
I
how,
assume so.
I would think so.
is
Yeah.
that how we're getting a bullet out of that?
Or just some other soft, like aluminum tin. I don't know what they had. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I assume it's lead. I didn't know you could melt it down like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Little bullet things.
Do you want to know one aspect that I like about this movie and like these three genres of movie?
What's that?
A lot of war movies, unless it's like the psychological Fury Apocalypse Now war movie, you got this, you got sports movies, and then you got heist movies. I like the team coming together. You got the militia. It's like we're training, we're making it happen. This happens in movies like Robin Hood.
These aren't the kind of men you need. You got the church boys. You got those bar people. Also, just going back to that scene, how do you just do the death or like long live King George and get back in that bar after that? People were throwing knives and
Yeah.
shooting. Like you can't just poke your head back in and be like, we're just kidding, just joking.
I mean, you're dealing with the ghost, Benjamin Martin. Like,
it's true.
He's gonna be fine.
Aren't you a little too old to be believing in ghost stories?
I do
Thanks,
want to
Scoop.
just shout out Sidekick. Love that best friend. I think their chemistry is palpable.
Wish he could have made it through to the end instead of the honored guy. That guy should have made it. You know.
Yeah, I can't believe Honor did make it through. I mean, obviously Occam saved him, but
Yeah. Well, even at the end, he makes it through all the.
there are three heartbreaking moments, albeit maybe to the critics' point, melodramatic. But when his friends, when he sees that his family got killed and he shoots himself, that's gut wrenching.
That's a pretty heavy moment. That was a pretty heavy moment in the theater. Yeah.
Obviously, the church burning down, that's just rough.
That's pretty
for me is when Gabriel died. I didn't realize how like sad that was. That I got choked up a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's heartbreaking in the moment, and you kind of realize, as much as we love Gabriel,
Could you try again?
Hey Alexa, shut the fuck
shut the
up.
fuck up, Alexa. You're not your dad. Maybe you double tap him before you go chop the fuck out of him.
Always double tap.
You gotta
Always
double
double
tap.
tap.
Always double tap.
And then obviously this one got me in theater and still kind of does. Papa,
then
I'll
you know
say
what?
anything.
That one's.
God damn it!
I'm not
maybe,
gonna lie.
Maybe it's worth it to go to Gullah Gullah Island just for that scene.
That-
it is sad.
that never
maybe
got
we
me.
could have fit it in somewhere.
That never got me until this viewing. The Papa
What?
for some.
That never
it's-
got you?
No, it's sad. No,
That
but
got
the
me-
deaths
what movie
usually.
this to come out in 2000? That got me when I was like 12. I'm like, that is sad. That is just sad.
It really is, but not as sad as Gabriel going down. Oh, just after the wife too, and after the wedding, that will.
Gotta double tap. Gotta double tap.
It did surprise me the first. I mean, one, I was very young.
Because you had the first hit of Thomas, right?
Yeah. I mean, Thomas was dumb. He was a kid, but Jesus, Thomas.
He felt a little reckless. Yeah. All right.
That was a pretty bad move. He was what, 14, 15? No, he's 15.
He was 15.
Can I just say
17.
about the church though? The church was a liability in the first place. It was bound to go up in flames on just a hot day. It seemed like it just took like a flame. That thing was kindling.
Also, I
Threw one torch on there.
One torch on there. That thing
Maybe
went up
two.
in
I think
flames.
there was two. Two
and
torches.
we
on
might have like 5-10 minutes before we all die of smoke inhalation, but I'm beating that guy to death. He ratted us all out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Benedict Arnold?
Yeah,
He's
he's-
just beating the shit out of him until he can't breathe
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, I actually have to blame the church people. Get out of the fucking church.
Cookies and fellowship.
Yeah, and well, also if you're coming,
Somebody can get out of the church. Maybe you get shot.
they are
after.
surrounded by guards on the outside.
No,
if you see.
I watched for this time.
They're leaving,
they
but-
leave pretty. I know they got a couple, but one of them's their neighbor. He probably lets
if
some
you
of
look,
them go.
well, probably. But if you look, they are surrounded. It's just the cavalry that's taking off. All the like foot soldiers, they're still sticking around.
Yeah,
That
you
is
mean
true.
the worst people are taking off, and
Yeah.
like nobody wants to watch innocent people burn alive unless you're Covington.
Tavington.
God damn it! I should even stop saying his name because this is one thing that just pisses listeners off.
Well,
But this is as close as I get because I've seen this movie so many times. True.
Just a general comment about just Revolutionary War and how that all goes. Like, imagine just being like a piccolo player in town and like, oh fuck.
don't want to be a piccolo, flag,
Well, no,
or
hold
drum.
on, like-
I want to have a weapon.
Let's say you play the piccolo around town, festivals, all that. Like people.
Cameron's good. We
Yeah,
need to get
he's
him
good.
in the unit.
Yeah, we need him. Like and you're like, oh fuck.
I mean, you're
Now
a piccolo player.
But
you're
also-
drafted as the piccolo player.
But also, Mark, try going into battle and not having my rousing piccolo, like inspiring you to go in. You know.
I mean, I assume
That's what I'm saying. If you're scared
just-
for war, you're fucked. You're good at piccolo.
just by human
You're in.
nature, we all agree that if we were transported from where we are now to it's just like a golf range. You're aiming for the drummer, you're aiming for the piccolo player, although you should probably kill somebody with a gun, and you're also aiming for the flag bearer. It's
I will
just
say
fun.
though, this movie,
Pick them off.
this movie has the most.
And I can tell you what, I'm never picking up the flag. Gonna hold a gun.
This movie has the
next
most
battle is
flag
just a
waiver.
drummer.
This movie has the most flag waiver takeouts ever. They like punch and take out 3 flag people in this.
It's got one of the most epic flag carriers of all time, though. To go with the shot design, I really like the widescreen musket shooting at night. It's just a cool look.
Anything
was a
shot
good
at the
shot. I
an
love that
original
shot.
farm is really pretty. Anything before they leave is really nice.
I agree with that.
I'd be kind of bummed that our hideout's in a swamp. Like everything, it's always going to be wet. My feet are just going to be soggy. We always have to trek in on this water.
Is it there just because they assume that the redcoats won't go to swamp area?
Yeah, because it's a gross swamp. Yeah, they're 100% right too, Jordan.
Yeah.
I think even at one point the neighbor says
It's
they're
like,
at the old.
actually, they're retreating to that swamp area.
Yeah, like
Hate that.
when the neighbor rats him out, it's like I can tell you the size of their boot. He's like, yeah, they're at the old mission swamp kind of thing. Like they know where they're at that point, and they still go back to there.
Yeah, because they're like, we're not going.
We're not going
doing
to the swamp.
stuff.
So maybe I guess it's perfect, but I would hate it. And also, more people should be alarmed by Gabriel's black teeth when he's coming out. This is a time of disease and death. Yeah, his dad's like, "Oh my God, you have the black mouth death."
That part actually got me like chuckling pretty heftily.
There's a couple.
She's like smiling. I'm like, oh, you got a lot of shit on your teeth. Don't you?
I mean, plague couldn't have been. I mean, it was far enough, but they had a lot of problems in colonial times.
Yeah, you got to be worried about that.
I mean, I'm sure people have like black mouth as the sign of you're dead
Lemons.
tonight.
Yeah.
Prevent scurvy.
There's a couple recurring funny gags. There's the teeth one, then like with the ink. Then there's the dad just mishearing things. That's always funny. Well, of course you can call yourself a man. Oh, writer.
Writer.
Those are always cheeky. He burns to death in a church.
Yeah, only one guy deserved to.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
can
true.
I talk about the first church scene with Anna? What's her name?
Anne,
Yeah.
Anne. Pretty easy to.
sway everyone into battle.
Yeah.
Trickle down unverified. The Anne speech scene is actually inspired by Abigail Adams' letters to John Adams about the war and inspiring other patriots to get involved.
I mean, it was inspiring her speech, but if I was in there getting kind of like guilted and peer pressured into being
I
a
just
militia,
came for the 10:30 service. is what
yeah,
I
I'd
did.
be like, Anne, why don't you just shut the fuck up?
Well, if I came in there and was inspired by the speech,
Cookies and fellowship, and that's
Cookies
all
and
we're-
I would then leave the church and then see those bodies hanging on the tree and be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to get involved in this at all.
Totally good. Being neutral on this one.
Big question: Did we ever watch this in like middle school, high school?
I
Did
think
ever
we
watch
actually
this?
did watch scenes of it to help
I never
understand
did,
the Revolutionary
but
War.
I also think it's because in our school system they teach it in 5th grade, and in 5th grade this movie didn't exist because I was in. 5th
I mean,
grade.
look at the trailer on like YouTube, and it's just a bunch of comments like, "Oh, I'm watching this in school right now."
I think it just we were old enough where it didn't exist. Because in 2000, what grade would you guys have been in? I was probably like an 8th grader by that point.
5th or 6th,
Oh, you
right?
guys
We
could
would
have
have been right
got that,
around there.
but it would have been a new release.
Yeah, that's true.
So it would have been
like
tough to get that on
4th
Vivid.
grade.
Yeah.
We maybe caught this in some sort of world cultures, modern American history. Coatsy. Seems like we would have caught some
I
scenes
kind
there.
of feel like I remember some.
I think it was
I'll
high
say
school. I think
this.
it was a later thing.
Not a Tomahawk Massacre scene, but like some sort of other scene, maybe.
Oh, I do got
Plum scene at the beginning, maybe.
I do got a tomahawk question.
Sure.
In the final battle between Jason Isaacs, when Benjamin Martin gets a tomahawk hit out of his hand, I just keep watching. It is gonna hit somebody.
Oh my God!
God damn
This is Benjamin Martin's tomahawk in my calf. I'm seriously injured.
Honestly,
I'm gonna lose my goddamn
the
leg.
Tomahawk is a wild aspect of this movie. Like
Oh, yeah.
even when Gabriel's like held hostage, and he just no, Dad, no.
And he throws that guy, knowing I got to get this guy in the head before I can go have my fun and chop the shit out of that guy. Like, I got to get this done.
I have a question, kind of an animosity, but how does Jason Isaacs not put together that farm he burnt down and that boy he killed created the ghost that was created right outside of that barn he
Cameron,
burnt down?
He has just burned down so many houses.
That's true.
I mean, how many, he unfortunately burnt down the ghost. I mean, that's a clear-cut case of don't start, no shit, won't be, no shit. But he had burnt down so many houses.
That's
Cameron.
true. That's true.
To
It
the
does
point where
take-
Cornwallis is like, you gotta stop burning
Yeah.
down houses.
That's true.
Like, this is becoming a problem.
Yeah, let's watch
People
this guy a
are
little more.
talking. I mean, so yeah, it'd be tough to be like, which house? I burned down like 4 on the way here. In fact, you'd be like, why wouldn't you just keep the houses around? That would.
I
Benjamin
thought
Martin's
that you
wasn't
stop burning
opulence,
down
but-
houses. Keep some of those nice houses. Just kick them out and take them.
I mean, kill all you want. I do think about that whole situation. Sucks your house got burned down, but say it didn't. You got 15 dead colonials sitting around. Like, you got to bury them or burn them or whatever.
Oh, actually, it's
Yeah,
fun.
instead of like do your chores, instead of like feed the pigs, it's go clean up the corpses.
Got to clean up all those dead corpses.
Also, funny thought on top of that. You know how he comes into the neighbor's room when he's
Which
sleeping? Jason Isaacs, when he comes into the neighbor's room, he's like, quick, that man on the old like Spanish swamp. He also did that to 10 other people. Like, quick, that man on that hill next to the old like windmill. Quick, that man on the... They slaughtered a lot of families that
I
weekend.
mean, he did. He sure.
No, I mean, then he went after all those families.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, how many houses did he himself... One church, I'm going to count that as about 6 houses.
Yeah.
Because he killed the town. I do got a question about the town. I thought this when I watched the movie. With all this area, and I don't know what taxes are, and like, why would you want to live in a town next to the 6 people you know?
Just terrifying frontier.
Yeah, just frontier
Attacks
problems.
always from different things,
That's true.
animals and humans.
Yeah.
We're like
Safety.
just the 5th out of the 6th colonies that we have right now.
That's true.
possibly.
I don't have a lot of outdoorsy
Strength in numbers.
skills. I'm the
Strength in
I'm not
numbers.
saying us. I'm just saying them. It's
No,
like
I
Benjamin-
get. No, I totally get what you're
Not
saying.
everybody's Benjamin Martin. Like, he's going to be fine out there. I worry for anybody that fucks with Benjamin Martin.
I'm just a reverend.
That's true. That's true. The Reverend I get. Mr. Martin.
Okay, so this is an intense scene. I do like it when Jason Isaacs and the Redcoats and the cavalry are going to Aunt Charlotte's house to kill the family. But when it's not Thomas. What's the young boy, the Disney child actor? You all know who
Nathan.
I'm talking about, Nathan. When Nathan is hiding under the table, and then he's clearly just on the other side of that tablecloth. Like, I've actually noticed now, you can see a lump of feet in someone. Like, you can see someone there. Like, he's there. He's clear as
You gotta
day.
see it
There's
there.
legs, and then there's like just a womp.
Also, I do believe this to be the creakiest time in history. It's all wood.
Creakiest.
It's just the creakiest time.
Yeah, you're
This
right.
is new, still creaky.
What do you think? Like 1700 to like 1805, just creaky
Right before
as
the
fuck.
Civil War, and everything's just covered in sawdust and like logs. It was creaky up until then. There was some finish to it in the Northeast. Creaky fucking time.
Creaky.
Because before this, we're dealing with like either like shacks, shanty towns, or like castles. This is when the middle class, not the middle class, it's just creaky time.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Maybe you're just, maybe in this moment, like the Redcoats are like, what's one creek from another? It's just creaky time.
It's true. They are walking in with their boots and such.
So maybe it wasn't the sound they have.
Okay, honest to God question. So Mel Gibson and Gabriel are together the entire time. How does Gabriel set up a hidden wedding the week that like they all have furlough to see their families? Like, the post is so slow. How could he have possibly set all that up? One
The wedding
second of it
pisses
just
me
at
off
all?
so
No,
bad
I
to
mean,
like start off with anyways.
There's time apart after they.
But if I'm not mistaken, like,
because
they-
Gabriel took the Benjamin Martin family and aunt to Gulliver's Island. So they were
They came
separated.
there. They showed up there, but they already
He
found
took 'em there,
there
though.
were already families being attacked. No, they came there. Him, Gabriel and Mel Gibson show up. Benjamin Martin. Then he's like, I'll know what you feel when I have my own family. Then they roll into town.
Gabriel relayed the message to Benjamin Martin. She's talking, what she say. Like, he was there with him separate of Benjamin Martin. So I assume he stopped in town and, like, got supplies and shit like that.
Okay.
Like, they were separate a little bit. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. Even so,
I'm
seems
pretty
like they
sure.
could not have gotten that together that quickly. That's all.
You know, Anne's dad's little cone for hearing.
Yeah, his yak horn.
All I know is this. It's great to hear conversations. It's not cool to creep on your
daughter having sex?
Yeah, it's not sex.
With your war hero buddy's son.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, there wasn't a lot to do back then, Jordan.
That's true. I heard more than your mother did. Well, I hope so. So the biggest animosity with this movie is the Gulf beachside lull, the wedding scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little slow there, but otherwise, I mean, still a great
It
movie.
doesn't ruin it for me.
No.
Question about Benjamin Martin's intentions. We don't know. Did the wife die in childbirth for the
Well,
last
couldn't
kid?
have, though, because I actually was thinking about that.
Because she has memories?
Well, yeah, because Susan could talk before the wife died, and why would it be?
Okay.
We wouldn't be weird if she's never
So
talked.
she just
She's
died of illness or something like that, or Benjamin Martin.
Yeah, but she'd still have to be like 2, probably, talk, or 3 and starting
Well, I
to
think
talk
when we
by that
first
point.
see her, she's like 2.
But that's what I'm saying. Then why is everyone so weirded out that she's not talking that much? I mean, education wasn't great back then. I'm sure she's right on par.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like she could not have talked then. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's because she was.
I was a little confused about some of the age stuff.
So
there
my
at the
main
beginning.
question is: we don't know how the wife died. Whatever. I'm not saying that there was foul play or anything.
Right.
How long in advance
Hopefully not.
is Mel Gibson like Aunt Charlotte?
Well,
She's
Susan's
in the
about
mix.
2.5, so I don't know. About a year after that.
Yeah, but she's obviously either a widower, but she didn't have kids. She kept it very tight. He must have been for years being like, I gotta back up. Do not worry, I'll be fine.
We didn't see her a bunch. She really doesn't have a bunch. She really likes the
She has
kids.
money.
Yeah, she could be the worst. I mean, there's probably reasons she's single and just has a mansion. I mean, you know.
That's true. And at that time, we don't know how old she is, but
Like
she
the
must
pickup line is her. Like when Mel Gibson comes up, she's like, I'm not my sister," and he's like, "Yeah, I know." She's like, "So you're gonna do something about it?" And he's like, "What?" So like, she's not the coolest.
It was cool colonial time flirting though, just looking all
Smooth.
straight.
Yeah, and then grabbing her head forcefully and making out with her. She's a good babysitter though.
Yeah, solid.
The best. She's taken the kids for 3 years.
I'm speculating 3 years.
I mean, the movie starts pre-war with Gabriel just signing up, and in his letter, he's like, 3 seasons have passed, so it's almost a full year before we even see our characters again.
I mean, speaking of letters, like how long is like snail mail in the 1700s?
Oh,
Like, what are we
if you
doing?
even get it.
So long.
If you even get it.
If you even get it.
I mean, I believe at the beginning,
Do they have an address? I don't know. If they do.
Gabriel is just carrying mail, and he never gets it.
He's dead by the time they get those messages.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's gone.
The war's over. I
cooked.
mean, here's all I know about the War of 1812. The deadliest battle happened 2 weeks after the war officially ended because nobody
knew.
The Battle of New Orleans. So, like, take that. Like,
My
just
God.
nobody fucking knew. They're like, they fought it. Lots of people died in New Orleans. They're like, the war was over for how long? They're like, well, like 2 weeks ago.
Some guy in
shit.
Wyoming. War?
Yeah, no shit. I mean, I always thought, even though we didn't grow up in this time period in Iowa, we weren't part of, like, the everything going on. Like, it'll happen here way later.
Also, speaking of the war being over, I just kind of funny thought at the end of the movie, but when they're building his house, Mel Gibson's, like, ooh, really happy you started, but like, my previous house was kind of bigger, not loving the floor plan, had my own image of what I was going to do.
It seems like they built it where the previous house existed, correct?
I would guess,
Like,
yeah.
pretty close to where it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Got a lot of bad memories here.
A lot of people-
bad
a
memories.
lot of
Well, and
people
also,
died here.
Abe Lincoln's not a thing yet, so
They were free
free
men
men.
on that. Mel Gibson was a very honorable South
they
Carolina
did-
Southern man in the plantation era, running a plantation.
I guess that'd be an animosity. They made him
A little too, yeah.
good, yeah. But it would really take you out to...
Yeah, if he was running a slave plantation too,
Yeah.
but he was a likable guy somehow still.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been pretty hard. I mean, the only things really about the movie that do get a little annoying are all the, well, it's a free country, or at least it will be, or
Yeah,
like we're building
sure.
a free land and a free world. They're doing a lot. We're trying to get out of taxation. We're trying to get out of the under the thumb
I
of
didn't
taxation.
count more than 5 of those though, like the over the top ones.
You can glance past them, but those are the only things that kind of do annoy me.
It was close to being a Disney attraction, but not.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was close.
Quite there.
They say
it
it's
was close.
close.
It was dangerously close.
They say it's going to be a new world, but it's the same world,
But then
really.
the next scene you have like a decapitation or like someone's
Yeah.
like leg getting blown off.
And that helps even.
So the director or the producers, I don't remember which one, was fighting that decapitation, and I heard they're like, we don't want it to be an R.
Yeah.
I'm like, how was it not already an R?
A lot of blood.
Like, I guess you didn't see him chopping that guy up, but that felt more. I mean, that was
Brutal.
grotesque.
One little just tiny nitpicky animosity I have, but this is with a lot of movies before, a lot of just like 4K and like just digital cameras. But when you can clearly see in editing, they chose it to be a slow motion moment after the fact, just because they don't have a high enough
Gotcha.
frame rate. And there's a couple moments in this movie where you can just see it kind of get like a little glitchy slow mo because they clearly
Yeah.
just slowed it down instead
Sure.
of preparing ahead of time for that.
I don't know if
It
I
happens-
would have known what that was until you just said it. And
Yeah,
now
that's
I
what
mean,
kinda-
it happens a lot in older movies when they just editing, they chose slow mo instead of just speeding up
Well,
the frame rate to get like just a better.
right.
I'd
shot
say
of
you
it, but-
notice it more often, like in older movies, when they speed it up.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to shoot this fast.
True.
We're not putting anybody in danger, but we're speeding it up to make it look, and in a not comical way. We're like, we need
Then
this
it
car to
feels
look
like you
fast.
got the Benny Hill music.
yeah. That's what it
And their
feels
feet
like.
are just moving a little too fast.
I do want to say, obviously they use CGI for some of the wide extra shots, but I think they used like 800 extras in this
No,
movie.
yeah.
I saw like an absurd number.
It is a lot of just practical people, practical effects. I mean, well, not all of it.
Especially for the time that it was right on the cusp of everything CGI, right?
Right.
I think it's pretty. The scope and scale with the extras is still pretty good.
It's helped its longevity and just its believability still. It looks still super accurate. I mean, just the set, man, the clothing, it's all so good.
I love it's not a fall movie, but it feels like it, doesn't it?
It's the color. It's the warm orange,
it's
the
a
brown
warm-
and oranges.
I actually like The Dead of Summer. I love it as a
it is a
Yeah,
4th of July
as
movie.
a 4th of July movie. I really do.
for sure. I mean, but we don't get into winter that much. I guess it's because they're in
Just
South
that
Carolina.
one scene with Gabriel at the
Oh,
beginning
really?
writing.
Gabriel's friend, who's like, "We're gonna join together and live forever."
Yeah.
That guy, yeah. I love this movie, though. I still do. I get the faults it has, the lull, the melodrama, the historical inaccuracies, but sometimes you gotta say, I don't fucking care. I like this
For
movie.
2000, USA.
All
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, I do. I mean, we should mention Mel Gibson, anti-Semitic, disgraceful.
Oh, yeah. We've
We're
brought up
not-
Yeah, fuck Mel
We're not
Gibson. This is not a
erasing
Mel
that.
Gibson
if
podcast.
you're new to the podcast, Jordan and I are Jews, but we haven't forgiven Mel Gibson. But we choose to still watch.
Yeah.
We choose to still watch a couple movies that we already
Yeah.
own. So we're not helping anybody.
We're not forgetting it. It seems like I don't know if he ever got canceled completely or
He
served
did
his time.
he did from major motion pictures. He's working independently, making a lot of his own content, but he's not getting a lot of options for
Yeah.
big releases
so
in the
like,
past. Like
we're
I
not
don't know, 10
defending
years.
it, but it's like, I like this.
I like this movie back then, and it's nostalgic.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. He directed Hacksaw Ridge, and it's probably got the problems you don't like about. If you don't like Mel Gibson the way he directs, you're not gonna like it. But
It was okay.
It's still
I
a
liked
good movie. He still has it. He makes good, entertaining, big movies.
Or at least he did before.
No, Hacksaw Ridge came out like 4 years ago.
Not true.
Anyway, we're not forgiving him.
Hey, but let's
Anti-Semitism's bad, but there's a lot of anti-Semitics out there, and they don't make good movies.
and I want you to look into your heart and say, hey, is hating Mel Gibson more than how much I love Heath Ledger? So, let's remember that this is a great Heath Ledger movie.
Yeah.
Let's move on to recasting.
Recasting.
All right, recasting. This one is. I mean, you could recast.
You can
A
go
shit
deep
ton
in
of people.
this. I tried to keep it a little more main, but what would you have? I think you went.
Can
a
I
little
go
deeper
before
than
the main characters? I have two
me. randos?
just completely side
Yeah,
characters.
go.
This is the King's Highway.
Oh, this is the King's Highway. That douche.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Boom.
Funny enough, I was gonna put him somewhere that works
Boom.
pretty good.
Boom.
This
is the King's Highway.
Fuck him. Yeah,
I could see him getting
Okay.
shot in the head and deserving it
And
after
then this one's gonna annoy listeners and probably you guys, but either make them a fancy soldier, at the fireworks.
Okay.
I think you guys know where I'm going with. That's
Andy
Andy
Dick?
Dick.
Okay,
Yeah. I
cool.
just wanted it the whole time.
I thought it might be, but nice.
Okay.
The Reverend. Did anybody have the Reverend?
I did not get
Not
the
at
Reverend.
all.
Give me Liam Neeson, but like make him like old and
Okay.
reverend-y.
Yeah. He would put people.
He would
down.
be killing some people. He'd be going Benjamin Martin on some asses.
Oh, sneaky trickle down. Love where he gets shot.
Oh yeah, that gun toss is
Toss
amazing.
it up.
The toss? What? Yeah,
What?
we did not
Toss.
talk about
I'm
the
not
toss.
exactly sure, but I think when we saw that in theater, people like maybe not applauded, but like
Like,
holy shit! But like had an audible
Gasped.
like yes,
A gasp. Absolutely. I gasped
It was
today.
solid. It was
Yeah,
solid.
it really is.
Clutch cargo. Yeah.
You know what? That's a moment where they plan the slow mo, and it's a beautiful frame rate. I'll tell you that.
This movie,
planned it.
okay, this movie did have a lot of
Gotta
slow
play
mo.
the slow-mo cam. You're right.
Obviously, I think if you watch, I know Mel Gibson didn't direct it, but he loves a bloody slow mo shot
Yeah.
of reflection of I just murdered. Like he loves it. I mean, man, so do I.
Captain Wilkins.
Ah, man.
Yeah, I did.
wanted
I think I
that
did Captain Wilkins. That would be.
He's the one who like eventually throws the torch on
Oh
the
yeah,
church.
okay. He's the neighbor. He's the bad neighbor that like I can tell you.
He's
the
the
size of his
Benedict
boot.
Arnold,
Yeah, yeah.
essentially, like the
Yes,
traitor
correct.
amongst his friends.
Who'd you have? Because I think we might have the same person.
No, probably not.
Okay.
If you had the same person for this
no,
role,
no.
I would just be fucking shocked.
I did Ben Affleck. I don't know. He kind of looked.
Oh, interesting. I could see him
Just for
some
the
people out.
swarmy reason.
I don't know. He like kind of looked like him at one point, like a young Ben Affleck.
Okay.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
do you want to looks like?
Sure.
Young before he broke into stardom, like first season Will Ferrell of SNL.
Weird. Okay.
Look at him; they look alike.
Who's Kronk? Who's like more broccoli?
Oh my god.
I mean,
I don't know
He would
the
have
guy.
to speak normal, but
So you can't do that.
well, but you don't. Yes, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you can't make that guy's voice.
That's
I
just
can
him.
tell you the size of his boot.
Oh, there is an innuendo there for sure, right? I can tell you the size of his.
Benjamin Martin.
Yeah, I mean,
Benjamin.
we call this the ghost.
Who else you got, Bart?
It'll
the
leave you
daughters, I just did
questioning
the-
everything.
The daughters. I just did the fanning. The fanning.
Oh yeah,
that,
toss
also,
the
yeah,
Fanning in there,
that totally
sure.
is fine with me. Have all of them in there. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, both of them. Just make one the one, the other the other.
Anne Howard. Did anybody do Anne Howard?
I
did
did.
do
It's
Anne.
uninspired. It's Anne Hathaway.
Oh, I did Rachel McAdams.
Sure.
Yeah, they all. That's not uninspired.
Fine with any of these.
Mine fell
Just
uninspired.
recast it. And
Yeah,
stop
I know,
saying-
but like it seemed too on the nose. I wanted to go kind of like a more obscure no
I
name.
went
But
Natalie Portman. So
Yeah.
you can just say a name. It's
I
fine.
like Natalie Portman.
Ooh, that's yeah.
I like
love
that
that's
the most.
bringing a little more gravity.
Because her speech would be so like.
Random, just make him fluffy and white like Santa Claus. I did father of Anne Howard, Peter Howard, Nick Nolte.
Oh, whoa, interesting.
Okay, so here's my.
Of course, you call yourself a man.
I just.
Do you
he's
know
got
who I want
such
to
a
do?
gravelly voice. I'm Nick Nolte.
Oh no!
I have a weird one, and this is a looks like, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his American accent is. I think he does it in The Adventures of Huck Finn, starring Elijah Wood. I thought Robbie Coltrane. It's a looks like, but just it's uninspired.
I was thinking that too, but I was
Plays
also
Rubius
thinking.
Hagrid.
I was also
The
thinking.
uninspired.
A,
I don't like that word.
hear me out. Thinking Sleepy Hollow, Mr. Dursley, and just kind of going that route. He's kind of a fun, cheeky fellow in that movie.
And he's robust. Yeah, I like that, Mr. Dursley.
Mr.
Yeah, that's
Dursley
fine.
may,
Yeah.
may win that one.
Thank you. What else you got, Mark? Work way up for me.
Nathan, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I like that.
Yeah, that works for me. Actually, I
Can't hate on that.
The only one I did out of him was the Thomas, but I did want to do Nathan just because he is the Disney Channel kid and we know him.
You
and,
could maybe do like a Lawrence.
a Lawrence.
brother
Yeah,
kid.
that would work.
You
Maybe
could do one
that
of
young,
them.
the youngest one there. Yeah, that works
Sure.
for me. I'll go Lawrence.
The young one, probably.
Yeah,
It can't be the.
Okay.
It can't be the
Okay.
Nathan.
No,
Let's
because
do
that one's Thomas probably.
Let's do Lord Cornwallis.
Damn, did
This was
anybody have
actually
a good
kind of
one?
hard for me because he kills.
I
it,
love
man.
Tom
He-
Wilkinson in this.
he really does
in
kill
many
it.
roles. I think he's one of the most versatile older character actors we know.
I'm going to go because Jordan's going to
can
hate
go
this.
chalk.
Well, the one I'm doing is Michael Gambon. He played the Dumbledore that replaced Richard Harris.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just because, but I did also want to put Anthony Hopkins in there just for the
That's
voice.
what I was trying to mouth to you
Ooh.
right there. Was
I like Anthony Hopkins.
Maybe
yeah.
not look wise, but voice wise, he would be stern and proper.
I like both of them. Anthony Hopkins seems a little more on the nose. The Richard Gambit, just because I've seen him in other roles, he's mean.
Yeah,
In a lot of his roles, he brings whatever
that
that is.
stern fierceness, and
I thought about putting Richard Harris there, and I'm like,
it's
but
too
why?
soft.
Yeah.
I know
He's
you.
just-
I went General Radcliffe from Pocahontas. That voice.
Oh,
I don't remember
His
it, but
name
it
is
seems like
is David Ogden Steers. He also was the clock from Beauty and the-
from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
What was what's his name?
Cogsworth.
So he was Cogsworth and General Ratcliffe.
Man,
Just kind of that voice. I don't
It's
know.
very nice, horse blanket. Who did you have for Colonel Harry Burwell? That would be the 11/22/63 guy.
Chris Cooper?
Yep.
I had one, but this wasn't the best, and I know I'm kind of picking it because he was in what's this, Gettysburg. Jeff Daniels would actually be really good at that.
Jeff Daniels would kill that. That's
Really?
mine too.
Nice.
That's what I have. I literally.
So
I
we
could
all
not
had to be
believe that's what you
incepted by
said.
Gettysburg then,
Yeah.
in some way, right?
Actually, I looked up I looked up Civil War movies.
Even though I don't think he does, like,
Part of
there's
it's that rasp
transferable
voice, though.
I also think, though, that character plays a very tired, stressed character, and there is some of that from
Yeah,
Jeff Daniels.
I agree.
So we were kind of all similar.
Yeah. Well, I like that one all around.
Nice. I'm surprised you guys agreed with me, but yeah, I like that for them.
Dead on. Before we do Tavington, let's do. Let's do Charlotte.
Charlotte, I did have Naomi Watts. You would know her from The Mom in the Ring. She's very similar to
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. She's
Just
friends
they're
with,
both Australian.
friends with Nicole Kidman. And
Chalk is Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little less chalk. Listen to our episode of National Treasure. I'm doing Diane Kruger.
Right up here.
That's
Diane
good.
Thought
Kruger.
it the whole time. I love the Diane Kruger. I thought it the whole time. You could. It's a little too star-studded, but I did think Charlize Theron would be great in that role too.
True. Too big.
Theron, too big. I get it. Maybe not in 2000. Yeah, she's always too big.
Too much gravitas to it.
You're right. You're right.
Even before we do Tavington, let's do Thomas.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Me
Yeah,
too.
okay.
It's fine. High five here.
It's finally time
High
for
five here.
But now that Mark
This
reminded
might
me,
be the real one.
Yo, I
This
disagree.
might be
Have
the
that?
realest
100% have it.
actual
Yeah,
one.
I have it right here. I have JGL.
I agree. Even time-wise, it adds up. But I will say, Mark bringing to my attention, we could definitely put that young Lawrence brother in that middle one as the
The
Thomas.
middle
You could
and
put
the
a lot. You could even put the Brink
Thomas
kid.
and
You
Nathan
put
could be the
so many.
lowest ones.
Oh,
In
the
fact,
Brink
could
kid.
Gabriel be the oldest Lawrence brother? No.
Oh, goddamn no.
Could we just get
Joey
all
Lawrence? No,
brothers?
Joey Lawrence.
Whoa.
Joey Lawrence could be in this movie. Few lines. Militia guys.
All right,
Honored.
let's do Tavington.
What do you know about war? That was awful. I
Tavington?
thought that was
Tavington. Cameron, you're up.
I actually don't hate mine. Ray Fiennes. He's also just distinguished
Sure.
British and plays villain a lot, and he's very easy to hate. And he's
I
good at
almost
it.
like him as Cornwallis.
I don't hate mine either.
I did think about that too, because he could be a little cheekier, but we didn't really know that until later. But
Yeah.
Cornwallis isn't bad, but Ray Fiennes.
I like that. I get it. I thought of it.
Sean Bean.
Ooh, I like that.
That could maybe work. He does play a villain quite a bit too. It's always still so likable though. Whenever he's kind of a villain, it's still somewhat charming.
Fine. Alan Rickman.
That was. I just
did
can't
think about
see
that,
him.
too.
Okay, here's why I don't like Alan Rickman. I just can't see him in the field.
That would
You
have to
gotta
be-
get down.
He would be a better Cornwallis, maybe.
I think
maybe,
Cornwallis. Yeah.
He would have to be like
Fuck, you're right.
Die Hard age though.
Fuck,
he has to be
you're right.
younger.
Listen up. I thought about this long and hard. Can I give my? Really wanted to get him in there because I think he'd be a good villain.
Let's hear it.
Cillian Murphy.
Oh, I actually have him for somewhere else.
That makes sense too. I might have
Wow.
even put him there. But honestly, I think this is.
No, he's perfect for a.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. Daniel Craig is perfect. Here's why.
That's actually- he has pretty
plays
Tuvington?
Yeah, as Tuvington. He plays disdain and there's smugness with that character.
He has pretty harsh eyes. That actually works.
He has
pretty
harsh
good.
eyes. You could see him on the horse, and we know he could do the action.
What
He
if you-
played some bad characters before he was Bond. I'm just telling you. I
Actually like that a
think
lot.
that's great. I love Jason Isaacs.
I
as
like
this.
my Ray Fiennes, but I actually think yours trumps mine.
Daniel Craig.
That's the only one I
That's
felt
a
good
surprising
about.
one.
Good call. Let's go to Gabriel.
Hear me out. That's my Cillian Murphy.
Okay, I definitely thought about
He
that.
would have been younger. He still would have been kind of a heartthrob. He has high cheekbones. He does good accent work. You have to see.
It's Christian Bale.
Oh,
that's
totally thought Christian Bale. So I thought of both of those. I thought Christian Bale, great. Younger Christian Bale would have killed it. I thought of Cillian Murphy would have killed it.
Cillian Killing. What is it?
Whatever.
I've been
It's
saying
both.
Cillian, but
It's
I never
both.
know. Sorry.
You guys aren't going to agree with this, but I actually, the whole time I saw it, Domhnall Gleeson, the
Okay.
redhead from About Time. I get it. He's a little more boyish than you want, but I think he could have played the role really well.
Dye his hair. I would have to do that. I don't.
The
maybe-
only problem with him is I actually like yours better. I thought of them both.
I don't want to go Star Wars with Gleason though, but actually, I almost see him as like
He
the
could
number
play-
2 to
yeah,
Cornwallis.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, but sir, like that guy.
Sure, because he
Okay.
played that. Can I say one what if Gabriel that just is going to be weird? Adam Driver.
No, I could kind of see that.
Okay, cool. That's all I needed.
Let's move on to the main attraction, Benjamin Martin.
Before anybody says it, before anybody makes fun of me, before anybody calls me out, it's chalk as fuck. It's Russell Crowe. It's Russell Crowe.
Of course, I thought it.
I mean,
I'm with
Cameron
you.
already alluded to it.
I don't know
The
how-
Gladiator came out in 2000. pretty much the
Gladiator
same
came out in
month.
99.
Would he do an American accent or would he do British? He's Australian.
I think you can do kind of that mixture. It doesn't have to be
I
straight
mean, Heath
American.
Ledger kind of just speaks somewhat.
I kind of
normal
want
for
him to do
and it-
British, just do a British
It's fine with a little British.
Maximus.
I do like that a lot of the colonials. Now that I'm thinking about it in this movie, some do have British accents. Some
Yeah,
do
I
have
think you got a
American.
mixture. One guy's a Brooklyn accent. Everybody else is pretty much all over the place.
What do you know about war?
I actually do you want to hear a weird thing? I think if you do him now, I like Christian Bale's Benjamin Martin too. I thought about that. That's a
Maybe.
conclusion I came to. He would be old enough now to play
Yeah.
this type of role. The only part is he might make
Loving
it
father,
just too serious.
Yeah, I don't see
I
him
don't
being
know.
lighthearted.
That would
enough.
actually be awesome. Him as Benjamin Martin would
I
be
don't.
like
I
it.
don't see the lighthearted family aspect of it enough. I could see him
He
getting
could,
real
though.
into it and getting murdered.
I could also see him playing Tevington. Yeah,
I think it would be almost too serious. You're right. It would
Yeah,
add
he's
a
not a
dark,
family man.
but like that would still bring a lot of realness to the whole situation.
Do you want?
though.
I couldn't see it. Okay, all right, Cameron, go before because there's a lot of what
we're-
ifs I want to bring up.
Harrison Ford, 100%.
So that was a casting what if.
It was
and
a
I
pretty
saw
big
it.
casting. What if? Yeah, but I did think of that independently before I saw it.
I thought about that too because I'm like, who plays Mel Gibson type roles? There's two names that came up. It's Harrison Ford.
Kevin Costner?
Ooh,
Kevin Costner was mine, but
didn't
I'm
cross
like,
my mind, but it actually.
oh, 100%.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This is a Kevin Costner role through it. Like
Yeah, it just is.
I mean, Dances with Wolves.
I
period
didn't want to
pieces.
say it because yeah, I'm glad.
he already knows how to ride a horse. If you know what I'm
yeah.
saying.
He can ride a horse with with no hands.
Yeah, it's the only way he knows how.
Imagine him with just a fucking American flag. Just,
This is weird though. I've never really seen Kevin Costner do action. I'm sure he could.
3 days now, he just does gun kind of.
Yeah, but this
action
is
movies.
like
Bodyguard.
old man action. He's not
Yeah.
really doing it. How far off are we from this being a Hanks?
a Hanks. Oh,
far.
Okay.
don't too much action. He doesn't do like hardcore action.
Well,
shit.
look.
What about Saving Private Ryan?
To be honest, it's all about that.
Oh, that's true, but that's like a little different.
This is okay.
He doesn't do period piece shit really.
but to
Well,
me,
that's what I want. Well, he
Or like
does.
too old.
That's
like,
true. Well, that's what I wondered about Harrison Ford. Can we see him with a Colonie tail, or is it just going to be too weird?
We have a pretty big list here of casting what ifs. Here's like a pretty. Let me just quickly go through it.
Daniel Day-Lewis. What about him?
Yeah, he can do everything.
He can do everything.
Yeah, he can do
play
any,
every role in the movie.
He can do any period piece. He
Okay.
can play every character.
All right,
just
all right.
himself.
My bad.
Within the movie, he could also be playing Thomas. He could be playing Gabriel and Ben. He could be playing every role.
Okay.
Especially throughout the
I'm
years of
sorry.
his life, he would be great everywhere.
Including the.
I don't think there's a role he couldn't play. He could play Tuvington. He could play Cornwallis. He could play the dogs.
He's playing the
Whatever you
director.
want, it's method.
He ends up directing.
He could direct, yeah.
So these were all people who were up for the role for Gabriel. These are our casting what ifs. It's a pretty big one. I'll go through quickly, then we'll break it down. Joshua Jackson, Elijah Wood, Jake Gyllenhaal, Brad Renfro.
Can I comment? Elijah Wood would. Yeah, I
That's-
love that.
He's so frail.
That
though.
one
He's the
surprised
younger
me the
one, maybe.
most. I thought he has a Thomas written all over him.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe more of a Thomas or a Nathan, but he would have been a little older by then. Paul Walker, Ryan Phillippe.
What do you think about Paul? It's too big of a role for him.
So,
It's
hold
too
on.
active.
These
of
are
a role.
Thomases now.
These are all
No,
for
this is
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
This
This
is
is
all
So
Gabriel.
I think we all agree that maybe these are just all good Thomases. Like
Not
they-
bad. Not a bad.
Not
Thomas
bad. Not a
here.
bad Thomas.
I don't see Paul Walker being any of them.
No, I can't
Thomas.
see him doing a period piece.
Elijah
dumb
Wood's
voice.
definitely a Thomas. Jake Gyllenhaal I could have seen being maybe a Gabriel. That actually would
yeah,
have
he would
worked.
have been fine, especially at this time in his career.
The two main people who Heath Ledger was competing with, it was really being pushed hard for a Jake Gyllenhaal picture, but also Ryan Phillippe was pretty far into the final casting. None of us said this, but for Tavington, Kevin Spacey was the first choice for the role and also made it pretty far into the casting, but he ended up bouncing and didn't take the role.
The reason they didn't, they wanted him, but they offered
Because
Mel
he
Gibson
seemed
too
like
much
pure evil, and it really portrayed across.
So hear me out. Can he play a maniacal asshole? Of course, he did it in so many movies. Can I see him riding a horse and fighting? I just cannot.
Yeah, I don't think I actually could
I
either.
can't see him doing anything except being snide in a suit or near around a desk or table.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I just can't see him. I could see him burning down shit ton of houses. Yeah, I could see that. I could see him making the call.
The last one we did have was Harrison Ford, was mentioned. He said, end quote, "It boiled the Revolutionary War down to a one man's revenge melodrama," and he declined.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
like he's not wrong, but you know,
That's
take it easy, bro.
You made Air Force One.
Yeah, like he just. I think the real answer is I don't have to make movies anymore. Yeah,
I just crashed planes into golf courses now. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for today. Thanks for listening to our take on The Patriot. We're just a small grassroots podcast here at CCP, and the best way we can grow is through your generous recommendation to friends and family. So if you like what you heard today, and you know some other people that wouldn't mind sipping the Kool-Aid, don't be afraid to let them know to join Cult Classics Podcast. If we missed anything today, as always, you can throw your comments on the movie poster on social media at Cult Classics Pod. And if you have any movie recommendations for us, you can always write in at cultclassicspodcast@gmail.com.
All right, guys.
Bye. 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 Bye.